Yeah, good evening, everyone. This is me, your brother, your friend. This is Human Stevie on the show. It's going to be a very quick one this evening. I was supposed to be out yesterday, but I was not too. I was very indisposed, so I couldn't actually make it out. So that's why I have to like quickly come out tonight and just dwell on some issue that is actually bothering me. A lot of people have called me and said, "Human is you've not actually spoken on what is happening in Edo State PDP, the Obaseki government. Why has it not by now 7 months on the run? There is no cabinet and the ASAN and the 2024, election and all that and that. You need to, at least, hear your view on what you think. And I wanted to say no, I don't want to get involved in it because it's too early and all that and that. But I haven't watched the social media space for quite some time. It has been flooded with write-ups and videos from different quarters. From the Asian people, from the Benin, from people from Afema and all that and that. It has been really a little bit disturbing, and I felt okay. So of me just taking the back seat and allowing things to continue to be the way they are. Okay, let me just throw my weight behind the entire situation and also give my own personal uh, 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 explanation or something like that. So at least people can actually know where I stand and what is actually in place. And good evening, Brother Joseph and Prince. Good evening. I greet you all. And so, okay, let me just throw my weight, say what I think right now. So whatever I'm going to say today is my personal opinion. I'm not called to actually do this. I'm doing it based on my own understanding of the politics that is happening right now in Edo State. Okay, so no, and none of my words should be tied to anybody whatsoever to say, okay, this guy asked him to say it or this guy did not ask him to say that. So everything I'm going to say is going to be just me, and me alone. Okay, guys. So it's very good that we got that very clearly. So I'm not here to talk on behalf of anybody, any group, or the government. I'm just here to say what I think is actually happening in Edo State as of today. First and foremost, let me start with the crisis in PDP. Based on information that I've received, from different quarters, from different camps, as of today, I will say that the bottom line of the entire crisis in PDP today is power tussle. Okay, is the sharing formula is power tussle, nothing more, nothing less. In you know mid of 2020, when the electionary campaign was already in gear, the governor of today, who is now a PDP member, lost out in the screening from the APC, and he needed to get a platform to actually exercise his democratic and constitutional right, for a second term, and also as eligible, citizens or indigenous of Edo State, which he was qualified for. So he began to do a lot of consultations with other different political parties, and to call the story short, he finally landed in PDP, where he spoke with them. They had a very robust discussion, and at the end of the day, there was some little, tight corners here and there that he was able to settle. You all know Honorable Obede, Iyama, who actually, took him to court in Port Harcourt, and at the end of the day, they had, out of court discussion, and they got things right, and things went on. We also know how Gideon, the guy from Asian Engineer Gideon, stepped down. Then Rasma also stepped down, for Obaseki to not clinch the ticket, of the PDP against Pastor Sage Zayamo of the APC. During that electionary period, we had a lot of rumors here and there that some Ghana must go have changed hands, which I can't confirm. So that's why I said I call it a rumor. So I can't really confirm that a lot of things happened underground and blah 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 blah. But to cut the story short, the election actually took place and Obaseki won the election. Now after the election, Obaseki was sworn in for the second term, and immediately was sworn in. Obaseki had to appoint his former SSG in the person of Barrister Sadioge Esquire to remain the SSG. And I knew at that point in time there was a loophole. There were great problem between the new PDP and the official and the old PDP, which they call the official PDP. Okay, the new PDP is you guys who came with Obaseki from APC into PDP, whereby the old PDP are the ones that were on ground before the coming in of Obaseki. And by the constitution of PDP, the moment a serving governor decamp into their party, the same to APC also, he automatically becomes the leader of the party. Okay, so it takes over the structure of the party, it becomes the leader of the party. So that is what the law says in the PDP constitution. Okay, guys, like I said, this is my opinion. I'm not here to hold brief for anybody. So I'm going to just put it the way it is. Okay, so if that was what the law says, automatically, therefore, the very day that Governor Obaseki became a member of PDP, being a city governor of Edo State, he automatically became the leader of the party. Okay, now, as the leader of the party, he was supposed to have control of the structure on ground. And when he came with a lot of people, like Aslam Ozejwa and many others who came with him from PDP, from APC to PDP. They are still outside the fence right now. We must tell ourselves the truth. If we want peace to reign, we must be able to express everything the way they are, very clear for everybody to know. They are still outside. They have not been officially, indoctrinated into the PDP family. Okay, because for you to do proper indoctrination, what you do is there has to be, a way and manner in which they can be absorbed, and the absorption is the structure that is already on ground can be shaken a little bit, and these guys can be able to fix into the structure. Now, since the leadership of Dr. Tony, who is the PDP chairman in Edo State, had refused to actually, dissolve the structure when Obaseki called for it. And some people like Ogiadome and Dr. C, who are also elder statesman in PDP in Edo State, felt this was right, that it is time we do that, so that we can be able to incorporate everybody and become one big happy family, And but the other guy said, no, we can't dissolve the structure on reasons based. No. Now, when I read the letter that was written by the PDP chairman in Edo State to the national chairman of the party, Uche Sekondu, I became a little bit worried. In his letter, I tried to read through to actually know what is the problem, what is actually the thing that is creating this very particular, heat or crisis within the Edo PDP. And all I could see him say was 2 points. One, that Obaseki did not, what did he use the word? Consult them. That was the word. The right word. Obaseki did not consult them before appointing the SSG. And two, the SSG, the governor and the deputy governor are now from the same block, which is the APC block, into PDP. That what they want is for Right Honorable, Comrade Felix Shaibu should resign as the deputy governor, and they will appoint. That was his word. Read it that letter. They will appoint a deputy governor for Obaseki. So when I read through that letter, I was a little bit shocked at his outburst, because I felt it was too soon for PDP to have done that, for whatsoever reason. PDP have been out of power for 12 years until Obaseki came into the show and returned power to them around June, July last year. They actually won again. Nana be on the winning side. Today, PDP owns the entire State House of Assembly and also the executive arm of government in Edo State, which they haven't gotten since the era of Comrade Ali Oshomole. So 12 years out of power, now somebody brought in power into you guys. All you would have done is actually wait for him to deliver on the dividends of democracy to the people so that you can constantly remain in power. Okay? But the situation whereby some group of guys feels that they are more interested in what they are going to gain than for the welfare of the people gets people like me very shocked. Okay, guys? Now, when he wrote that, I sat down, then that flashed my mind back to the rumor I had in 2020 October. Immediately after the election, I was called by one of the politicians. I'm not going to mention names here today. I want to do because these are things that was told to me on a private note. So I'm not going to mention anybody's name. I was called by a politician who told me that there's going to be crisis in PDP. I said, come on, how? It's not possible because, sorry guys, this guy's not actually been in government for quite over 12 years. So having an opportunity to even be in government is for them to actually show what they can be able to do, for the Edo people. So if for whatsoever reason, he said, no, he said, I'm telling you, he said they want to have the SSG. Let me tell you guys, the SSG is the AG room, the administrative AG room of every government. Get it very clearly. The SSG is the administrative AG room of every government. SSG controls the government, not even the governors. So that's why when my brother, Pastor Sagezeyamo, said he was not in lucky government during the election time, I said, no, you were actually the third most powerful person in the government and the first most powerful administrative person in the government of Lucky Ibinedion. I might not be a politician, but I'm very vast when it comes to administrative settings and issues. So when you have the governor, deputy governor, these are elected office holders. Okay, then the first administrative, the guy who actually works with all the commissioners, all the permanent secretaries, who work with everybody and who contracts ends in his table is the SSG. Okay, after every meeting has been done, is the one that take the note, put everything down for the governor to attest to. So he has a very, 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 very important position. That is why every government that have come in, they pick their SSGs by themselves. The reason is this: the failure of the government, of any government, would depend on the kind of SSG that it controls. That is why most of us believed that the failure of Lucky Ibinedion was tied to Pastor Sagezeyamo because of the position that he occupies. Based on what I know. Okay, guys? So, Obaseki picking who he trusts can be able to deliver on what he feels is workable. What's the best thing that can ever happen? Okay? Now, on the part of Comrade Shaibu, guys, listen, I'm not a fan of any of these guys, but I stand where the Edo people stand. Now, on the part of Comrade Shaibu was, as even in one of the videos during the election, says he's ready to step down for anybody. He's ready to step down for anybody as far as Obaseki wins the election. But many of us, and many of the people who saw the fight he fought, who saw his willingness and readiness to actually support what is right, even when he had more advantage, as at that point in time, if Obaseki was impeached, he would have become the next governor and then contest for in the 2020 election. But he decided not to do that. He decided to stand in. He decided to stand in for the, for the truth, and people felt taking the deputy governorship position from him and giving it to another PDP member might spark some kind of political miscalculation in Edo North, which might make Obaseki to lose the election. So that was the issue there. So they felt the best we can do is to keep these two teams together and see how we can really do that. And that actually gave the result that we got. Okay, guys. Now these are the two things, and I began to wonder, okay, if the SSG position is given to Obaseki's camp, and the deputy governor came with him from the beginning, which we can't actually check because they were already a winning team, then we still have 2001 elected positions on ground, which anybody can actually sit down and have a proper negotiation. So my concern was this: what are these people fighting for? What is the reason why there is war in the state, why there is crisis right now? Is it because they don't want to release the structure that is on ground for the new leader to come in, or they are fighting for political positions? We need to know that. We need to know. Somebody needs to tell us, because based on what I read on the open letter written to Secondu, and what's actually happening today shows that, because in that letter they made 2 points: appointment and the structure. And also, sir, guys, listen, let's forget about the election now. Yeah, Solomon Igebo says, I'm going to answer questions as I go. Okay, guys, don't worry, I'm going to answer questions as I go. You're going to make us to work. But don't you think it's right for Governor Obaseki to have appointed a PDP person as secretary to the governor of Edo State? How can APC have all the 3 top government jobs in Edo State? Now, sir, let me say this very clearly. I just explained to you now the position of the secretary to the government. Now, I have a job. When I was working, here in Sweden, everybody that is also actually my assistant is my choice. I need people that I can work with easily. That was the truth of the matter there. I always make my boss, the top on me, to understand if I have to take anybody to cover this position, I need someone that I know I can work with. That no one that I will speak to will want to get permission from someone else. And the position of SSG is a very, very critical position in every government. I just said before that for any government to succeed, the SSG is one hell of a position for success. At its table lies or stops every important information and documents, MOUs and contracts. Okay? It ends at this table. So that very particular office is what you give to trusted allies. People you know can be able to stand for you. Okay? It's supposed to stand for you based on what is on ground. So that is why Obaseki failed. Because Obaseki just came into PDP. He has not really know who they are as a people. If you watch Obaseki first time, go check. Go check Obaseki first time. Go check Obaseki first. Most of his closest allies were appointed by him, except the deputy governor, which was Comrade Philip Shabu, that was appointed by Shomole. Taiwo, his chief of staff, was his old friend. His old friend. Why they met at the World Bank. That's where he picked Taiwo from. Osajo Ogie was one of those who actually worked with him from the beginning, while he was still, as the economic advisor or whatever. So there are some key positions that sometimes there's something that we need to understand where we are going to and what is going to benefit us as a people. So Obaseki Fed is the best thing he can do is to take the SSG, the deputy governor, and the governor. The deputy governor and the governor are no appointment. They were elected. Because when you're also doing election, don't forget, you take the winning teams together. You don't take anybody. You take the winning teams. You look at who had the power, who had the strength from Edo North as at that point in time to be able to muzzle power with comrade Hadaf Aliu Oshomole. And the only person that can do that at that time was his own son, comrade, Right Honorable Comrade Philip Shaibu. He was the person that had the capacity to dislodge his father because both of them were from the same camp. Get that, guys? It was a political calculation that was workable at that point in time. So the lack of governor and the deputy governor had nothing to do with appointment because they weren't appointed; they were elected by the people. I hope I made some very remarkable point here, guys. Like I said, I'm not holding brief for anyone. I'm just being realistic the way it is. So there are 2001 political position left. There's Commissioner for Finance, which is a very, very critical position. The Commissioner for Information, which is a very critical position. There's Commissioner for land and structure, land and survey, which is a very critical position. There's Commissioner for transportation and wherever. There are many other positions that are very lucrative that also have what it takes for anyone to go in there and commit something that will make you to be remembered for a very long time. The truth of the matter is this: it is not the position that you occupy. It is not the position that you occupy that actually tells of your importance in government. It's your impact on the people in every position you occupied. If you remember, in the 1992, thereabout, when Lucky Benedion considered for local government chairman in Oredo, we all know he was an Oredo local government chairman. But he did marvelously well that his name was written in gold. Was it 92 or 80 something? I can't remember again. When he considered for local government chairman, his name was written in gold. Okay? It's completely written in gold because of what he did. Okay? So that is just the situation of things on the PDP. So that eventually led to the crisis, which for me, it ought not to have been. If the reason you brought Obaseki into your fold is to tell us that PDP, sorry guys, I need to get so. If the reason why you brought Obaseki into your fold is to tell the guys that yes, you have come to liberate the Edo people from godfatherism, then you should be able to believe that it is all about governance, not appointment. Many of us work like I myself, I'm going to use myself as an example. I work for Obaseki without not receiving a dime, without not being recognized by anybody, without not getting any accolade from anyone. But I felt that was the best for my people. So my mind, my time, my resources was being put into that in order for me to be able to do something that is remarkable for my people. And at the end of the day, I should be proud of it. So having said that, now, Obaseki right now could not, because he's afraid not to have a repetition of what happened in APC. He has not been able to actually, constitute a government. Do you know why? Because that's where the structure is. Somebody said Obaseki is not supposed to talk about structure. Listen, guys, in governance, do you know why Professor Ben left PDP to APC in Cross River State? Because he said it's not the control of the structure. I promise you guys, if any governor is not in control of the structure, it can be thrown out at any time. That is why the governor, the president, is the leader of every party. Today, Buhari decides what happens in APC. His decision becomes final. That's why anything they do, they have to go to, even the Senate need to go to Buhari to get some level of confirmation from him. It is because of the way and manner it has been structured. Even in America, it's so. The elected person is the leader of the party at that level, whether from the local government to the state or even to the world, even to the federal government. That is how it works, guys. Let's forget about whether Obaseki ought to be or not. But that is his constitutional right based on the constitution that they operate today. Now the question is this: why hasn't he appoint commissioners, SSAs, SAs, and other boboe in government? Now, the reason is this. Let me say this. The reason it gives, guys, why he hadn't done that is because he doesn't want to play into the hands of the Hallelujah boys. Note this very clearly. Right now, Obaseki only know the people that came with him in APC. Okay? He only know the people that came with him in APC. He has not actually been able to incorporate with those that came or that they met in PDP. Okay, it's a little bit difficult for him now to know who are those guys working, who are in PDP, that he feels can be able to work. Listen, guys, when the governor is in power, people don't talk about they don't talk about those that are appointed. They talk about those that were elected. If anything happens to the Obaseki fails, Obaseki bear the body, bear the pains all through. It's not going to be Sajan, okay? It's not going to be Shaibu. It's not going to be any commissioner or whatever. It's going to be just Obaseki alone. He had failed. The people are going to say he had failed. So if Obaseki also succeeds, by the reason of the people he has appointed into his cabinet, he also will be the one that's going to bear the glory. So, having said that, that's why the guy is okay. It is better I take the blame and also take the glory if the need arises. Now that I don't know who the PDPs are, I only know the few from APC, and there is no way it can constitute his government with the new PDP, the one that came from APC. Then becomes wrong for him. So this is what is actually delaying him from constituting the government. So I rather remain like this, work with the permanent secretaries and all those that are met on ground, than creating an anarchy that can lead to problem that we are having, that he had before when he was in APC. But unfortunately, that which he feared most has already erupted. That will tell you the level of greediness of Nigerian politicians, particularly the Edo State extraction. Okay? So love Evans. We're not talking about failing or not failing. I'm talking about what is happening on ground. So just allow me to land, my brother. I'm not defending anybody now, but I'm giving you analysis. So you must be, you must be a political, guru for you people to get these things put together. It is not just about hating Obaseki or loving Obaseki. We must always stand in the path of truth. Okay, guys. So now, when there is no unity, when there is no unification of, or what they call harmonization of the two fractions that made up the new PDP in Edo State today, it will be difficult for the governor to actually start appointing people. Okay, you know that he set up a transition committee who just came back with their recommendations and all that and that to him. Yes, they said they brought the recommendation back to him. But he's unable to actually execute the recommendation because the House is divided. We're having two fractions in PDP, the new PDP and the old PDP. The old PDP is refusing to give room for the new one to be able to integrate with them. They're asking the new one, you come in, you're going to be a floor member. Listen, guys, if you're not a politician, like I said, I've been in politics since 1992, guys. I know what I'm talking about. So I understood how this whole game plays out. I started to step aside because the Nigerian politics is not for people like me. I'm too honest to a fault. So now, if there's no harmonization, and Obaseki is not in control of the structure of PDP, it can be thrown out at any time. That's number one. Number two, now local government elections is coming in. Council elections are coming in Edo State. If Obaseki does not have any say in the structure as of today, who does the primaries, not Obaseki? It is the ward and the local government executives that does the the elections, the primary elections for the positions in their respective wards and local government. So if Obaseki does not have a structure, then how will he not be able to now influence those people he feels that will work with him for the benefit of the Edo people? That is the issue. Because you must get it very clearly right now. So if he doesn't have, Obaseki doesn't have any local government chairman, so he doesn't have any councillors in all the 102 wards and the 18 local government in Edo State, then his government will be at risk. These are facts. And you know also, the wards and the local government also have control over the House of Assembly, because these men are actually from their wards. So you find that the harmonization is one thing that needs to be workable, because the entire House of Assembly today are from the new PDP. The executive, the two first group in the executive are from the new PDP. So if these old people who are actually now the ones that hold sway to power in Edo State are not in control of the structures, how do you expect them to function in their respective local government? Let's give an example of Marcos, Right Honorable Marcos, the speaker today, who is from Esaland. If he's not in control of his local government as the most senior, political office holder in the state as of today, how can he be able to influence what is happening in his own local government? It becomes a problem, and this can eventually lead to a lot of things that will create political tumor in the state, that can even lead to plot of impeachment and all that and that. So the non-appointment of political office holders into his cabinet is as a result of the internal crisis that the PDP are facing today. And the crisis is as a result of two fractions operating in PDP. The original PDP and the incoming PDP have not been indoctrinated into the old PDP. And because there's no indoctrination, then it's just like the Obaseki and his camp are still between the red and the deep blue sea. Okay? They've not been able to go into PDP, and they cannot return back to APC. So they are bearing a name without no structure. And the truth about it is this: no governor of any state will want to actually be in such a very peculiar position. It's not about believing. If it's not about a supporter of Obaseki, I'm being very frank here now. I'm being very realistic on what is on ground. They are not in PDP and they are not in APC. They're just between the devil and the deep blue sea. Yeah. They have not been fully accepted, fully indoctrinated, integrated, harmonized, unified into the PDP, and they have already left APC, not ready to go back to APC. So they're just between these two. And because Obaseki don't want to hurt the feelings of some of the PDP, leaders who actually supported him during the election, he had refused to just appoint only the APCs who are with him into these key positions. So we have 1,001 positions in the government. So taking away SSG alone is nothing to even write home about. The question I asked somebody when he told me, I said, can Dan Obi stand? Because Dan Obi is from the same Edo North with Comrade Shaibu. Dan Obi cannot stand Comrade Shaibu in a contest in Edo North. He can't. To be candid with you guys, I'm not a fan of Shaibu. Most of you know that. I'm not a fan of Philip Shaibu, no. But Obi cannot stand Shaibu in a fair contest in the North, in Edo North, when it comes to elections. So during the election time, we knew we need to get the best in order for us to win. And the two best was Obaseki, who was already popular in the South, and Shaibu, who had been able to leave his own father's camp and join his father acclaimed enemies. That was a guy that we felt, okay, this guy can be able to stand and fight. And he fought a good fight. And they all came out victorious. Okay? So that is one hell of a thing that we need to get about. Now, let's not talk about the 2024 election. Now, guys, let me tell you this. I'm going to answer every question here today. Every question you ask, I'm going to answer them today. So let me just finish with this analysis, and we can now go on to start asking questions and answers. Okay, guys? Now, on the 2024 election and the ESA agenda that has created a lot of turmoil. They have created a lot of turmoil today on the social media space and even within the political cycle in Edo State. I want to say, guys, you guys need to step down. You know, I don't like playing politics of anywhere but left face. Yes, I was going to say this. When the issue was first raised by one of our brother, asking the Esans to do so everything they can do to unify and get themselves together. Otherwise, the ambition is going to go into voicemail. And another of our brother again, responded, and that the other guy responded, and the other man responded. So that becoming, a tit for tat, and other Asian brothers came up and started speaking. Now, the issue is this, guys. The only way I'm going to blame my Asian brothers is this. One guy spoke. Not every Benin person spoke. But when they were replying, they began to generalize the issue that was on ground. And I felt it was not too right. I know they were pained. I know they felt betrayed. I know they felt like, oh, the governor is trying to actually betray us. He has to send one of his boys to test the waters and to see what is going to be the reaction of the people. I understood that quite all right. But nevertheless, guys, what they would have done is to have zero in their discussion or their attack on the messenger and the message, not where the messenger came from. I don't know if I'm getting what I'm saying now. The mistake some of them made, not all of them anyways, they would have zeroed their discussion on the messenger and the message, not where the messenger came from. Now that was when the problem came. So they began to, let me just try to be very careful, guys. They began to now make that very issue to become an ethnic issue, which it was not actually an ethnic issue. It was just an idea, a thought of one guy, of one man, among 4.something million Edolites and over 2.20 million, close to 3 million Benins. Okay? And if such a thing would have come up, I would have expected them. Like I did a video immediately. That video came. I said I stand with the Eastern Agenda 2024. I'm a Benin man. At least I'm one of the voices in Benin on the social media space today. I'm not just a pushover as far as the social media space is concerned. So if somebody like me would have stood by them, and many people also came up and said we stood by the Eastern Agenda 2024, whether they win or not, it would have been okay for them to understand that it was not all the Benins that actually did what happened. But when the attack came, it became an attack between the Benins versus the Asians. And that was where they lost the fight. That was where they actually lost this beautiful fight they were about to win. But from the first video that Comrade Lucky Rupe did, if you go to the comment section, 90% of the Benis that commented there supported Rupe against their brother. Go check the first video. Now, the moment people started coming out, the level of the anger began to grow. They began to grow. And some of them left the basis, the fundamentals of the issue and became tribal. And that is what brought some other Benis who felt, come on guys, this is not about tribal sentiment now. This is about reality into the show. Okay? What are you saying? You're not even asking the listener. So love Evans. What are you saying? What are you saying? I'm not even getting what you're saying, guy. I'm not getting what I say. Oh, because Ruben is my friend. He knows me. He's my best friend. He's my best friend. Ruben's video was fantastic. He did nothing wrong in this video. Others that came in started saying a lot of things that brought this whole thing. But let's come back home again. The essence, the Edos, the Afemas are Edo people. When an Afema speaks, I can hear 50% of what they say. When an Asian man speaks, I can hear 75% of what they say. The same thing when an Edo man speaks and a Benin man speaks, they hear also some level of what they say, depending on how much of Benin you hear, or how much of Esako you hear, or how much of Eshan you hear. So we are one and the same ethnic group, inseparable. You must never forget that. So we are brothers by tribe. The lineage of the Eshan and the Afemas have been linked to the Great Benin Empire around the 14th century. Okay, around the 14th century, that's where this whole thing came up. If you go to Benin Empire, go and read it around the time of Obavora the First. Obavora the First. Okay, guys. Now let me come back to the reality. Now, having explained, where my brothers from the Islam made a mistake in their, analysis, or in their, response to our brother also, was they left politics, they went ethnical. And if you go ethnical, others will have to follow you in that manner. They will leave the truth. They will start defending their identity. So that's what you saw. A lot of people started coming on the show from the Benin side, attacking, saying Esther's agenda is tribalistic, is fraud, it's not going to stand, blah, 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 blah. That aside right now. Now let me come to my own opinion, my own take on it. In the entire Nigeria setting, we have three major ethnic groups called the Wazobia. The Hausas, the Yorubas, and the Igbos. And those of us who are from the minority group have been complaining bitterly over the way and manner we are being treated by the three major superpowers in Nigerian politics, based on their numbers and their geographical location that they occupy. Okay, guys. Now we'll be complaining. We'll be saying, "Come on, these guys have been ruling us here and there and there and there and there and there and there." Now, if we complain from Edo State that we are being marginalized from the central, because we have not been able to produce either a president, a president, or a vice president, or a senate president, or whatever, and we are part of the Nigerian group, the same thing will come to us when it comes to our own state, which is now also a federating unit of its own. We also have three major ethnic groups: the Benins, the Afemans, and the Asians people. So I am one guy that believes in equity, fairness, and justice. Doesn't matter if it will cost me, but I believe in fairness, equity, and justice. From 1999, let's leave what has happened before now. From 1999 till this moment, no Asian man had been elected as a governor in Edo State. Professor Osadime Osumbo was not a governor. He was kicked out from office after he spent a year plus. But that does not make him, if you check the cadre of people that have ruled Edo State, it is Lucky Benedion, Adason Shomole, and Governor Obaseki. You cannot see the picture of Osumbo in any offices in Nigeria. If you go to the government house, you cannot see Osumbo's picture in government house as an ex-governor of Edo State. Okay? So, now, the Edos, this was what Comrade Philip Shaibu said during, no, not Philip Shaibu, sorry, Engineer Lukma, in one of his interviews, when he was trying to, narrate or analyze the event that took place behind the door, what brought Obaseki to government in 2016, and many other things that he said in order to paint Obaseki and Oshomole, pictures. He said during the time of Lucky Benedion, he actually formed what we call the armless rabbit, the newspaper that he was using. Now he said when he formed that, he said the reason why he formed that very particular, newspaper outlet is for him to ginger for the shift of power from the south to either the north or the central. Somebody go and watch that video again, guys. Okay? That's why I talk with facts. While he was doing that video, he made it very clear that he was one of those who actually fought for the shift, for the rotation of government, of power in Edo State. Since the Benin's have already taken 8 years. And then my brother, my father, Pastor Sagenzeyam, was so much interested in becoming the next governor of Edo State. When Lukman knew of it, he began to work behind the scene, sending out leaflets, going to places to reawaken them that the Edo South should not be allowed to contest again, because if they do, they may win. Knowing fully where, as at that point in time, they have the number. No, it didn't rule. Go check it. It's not. It was kicked out because his government was illegal. Joseph Sunday. Okay, when the Supreme Court kicks you out, or the tribunal kicks you out, you were never a governor. Go check. Go read it, sir. You were never a governor. You were never a governor. That's why 6 months that Salime ruled, he was not a governor. His name is not in any of the archive as the former governor of Edo State. I'm telling you with facts and figures now. Like here, I did on what I know that I can be able to defend anytime, any day. Okay, now he said there that in that very particular time they agreed. After they finally agreed, and I said, okay, Edo gets the power under Lucky Benedion. Then either Esa or Afema will get the power, which eventually, that was why Esa and Afema contested the 2007 election under Osumbo and Adams Ali Oshomole. Now, Osumbo came in through rigging, then he was kicked out by the court and handed over to Adams Ali Oshomole. So Adams Oshomole came and did 8 years, and the plan was Edo South will do two terms, 2 sessions. Let me call it 2 sessions, not 2 terms now, because a session makes 2 terms. Edo South will do 2 sessions before the other one will do. Like Edo South will do one term, 1 session, then Edo North or Edo Central will do 1 session. They will turn back to Edo South again before you go back to the other one that was left. That was what Engineer Lukman said in this video. That was the agreement that they reached before the 2016, the 2007 election. Okay, guys? So that was why the two major political parties then had to give it to the two sides, because they did actually know who is going to stand, the Oshomole's camp and the Osumbo's camp. Whereby, like I said before, one came in, both of them ruled at the same time, but one rule was become illegal. Okay? John Ojegu was in another dispensation. That is the Third Republic, the Third Republic of General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. So it was not part of this very particular terrain. John Kala. Okay, now I haven't taken you back to what Engineer Lukman said in a video. So let's not come back to fact again. I, as a man, I would think that the Esans should be given an opportunity, a chance to run for the governorship position of Edo State. It is not their right, but for fairness, inclusiveness, justice, and equity, we should give them the platform. The reason why I said this is this: the two major ethnic groups now is the South and the North. They are the central. The South has so much political numbers in terms of numbers. The North also follows the South. The center is a little bit small. So if they have to do anything to press the North, the central, they might not be able to get that. So that is why I'm saying today, every political leader in the central should begin to start doing their own work in making sure that they get the ticket come 2024. Not just getting the ticket to be able to do something to change the narrative of the landscape of Edo politics. Okay, let them make it like it is a thing of what is it called? Of ethnicity or tribal or tribal sentiment. No, let's make it to be a fact. We are all one and the same set of people, just that we have different political thinking and ideology. Whatever we are doing today, let's try to narrow it just to politics alone, not to ethnicity. Because anything ethnicity will create a very unpleasant hatred and distrust among brothers who have lived together for many, 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 many centuries. Please, guys, I believe that the Edo people, the Isakos, the Afemas, the Benis, and even the Esans to come together and give the Esans an opportunity to actually run for the governorship of Edo come 2024. All those creating unnecessary war in the social media, please let us drop whatever we are doing right now. Let us do consultation. Politics is about consultations. Politics is about consultation. They need to start consulting with the powers that be in Edo politics, whether in APC or in PDP. Because the politics today, listen, it is not only in PDP. If Obaseki would decide to give somebody to give what's it called? Okay, let me answer this, sir. Let me answer you now. Say former governor is governor because Yegu ruled for 9 months, Babuda ruled for 2 months. They are all called ex-governors. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. What the difference between Oyegu's, Obemudias, and Osumbo. Oyegu was duly elected. He wasn't sacked by any competent court. Oyegu sacked from office as a governor was illegal because it was under a coup. It was done by the military, which is not according to the constitution. There was nothing wrong with his election. It was not flawed. He had no comma. He was elected by the people, but the strong powers that came and took over the reign of government from them. The same thing with S.O. Bermudia. So that's why they remain an ex-governor. They weren't sacked by a competent court of law. So they were removed. If peradventure, or for instance, the military was overthrown by a more superior power and decided to return back democracy again, they would have been called back to their positions. It has happened in many countries in Africa. Okay? So their own government was truncated by a military coup. But that of Osadebe Osumbo was removed for illegality. And anything illegality is illegality. It doesn't matter how long it takes. So the moment it's illegality, it becomes null and void. The word null and void means it never existed. Okay? So that means it never, ever existed. Okay? You get it now? It never existed. That's the meaning. It never existed. So Osadebe Osumbo never existed as a governor in Edo State by law. Okay, so let me look for questions that I need questions. I need a very I think I've already answered this now. What of John Oyegun? I've already answered that. Oyegun was in another very different setting. I think he was under IBB failed the transition. Okay, that's where Oyegun contested for election when it was overthrown again. When IBB couldn't go on with it, he had to put it up. I think Sunday Joseph said Edo belongs to all Edo people, not to one individual person. If Esan want to win election, let them work with the whole Edo people. Also present good aspirant with a good agenda who will support them. That's what I'm saying now. Yeah, we're not just saying because it's Esan agenda now they will just bring any person. No, because like I said, politics is about negotiation. It's about consultation. It's about gathering, support. That's what politics is all about. So it's not just about one saying this, one saying that. No, it goes beyond that. So if the Essence want to win the 2024, want to contest for the 2024, then they have to start doing negotiations in the two major parties that we have today, which is the APC and the PDP. That's really true, my brother Joseph. Okay, somebody saying why is House of Assembly still in government house? So love Evans. I want to be frank with you. I hope you are ready to hear my answer. The truth is this: before that Anthony Naro complex was built at Ring Road, there was or there is still remains a chamber in the government house where the legislators actually sat many years ago. That place is still there. It has not been removed. That was why during Ali Oshomole also, they stayed in that place for 2 years. If you can still remember, guys. Okay? So, the issue is this: where they sit, the law says, doesn't matter where they sit. What matter is, as far as the mess is there, that signifies authority. The location doesn't matter. The authority of the house is the mess. They can stay on the street. They can stay on the street to do their legislative duties as far as the symbol of authority, which is the mess, is with them. So the location is of no effect. It is unimportant. What is important is, do you have the authority to sit? If the mess is with you, then you are on the right track. That was why when there was an invasion during the election, the first thing that Obaseki camp took away from the hallowed chamber was the mess. Because that is the symbol of authority. If the other group have taken the mess, the original mess with them, then that would have given them the power. They quickly took that away and they left every other thing there. Because they know no house of the assembly functions without the authority that they have. Because anything you do in a sitting where there is no mess, that sitting is invalid. It never happened in the face of law. It is invalid. It remains invalid. So where they sit doesn't matter. Do they have the staff of office, the authority to sit? Yes. And if they have that, that settles it, guys. I hope I've answered the question. Okay. So please let someone educate me. Is Shaibu and Isan or Igodo name? Yeah. The truth about it, the word Shaibu there is a Muslim name. It's a Muslim name. So it has nothing to do with Isan name. You know, many Isans are Muslims, and many Afamas are also Muslims. So maybe Shaibu has a relationship with Muslim from his origin. As you know, Oshomole was once a Muslim before he became a Christian. So was Shaibu. So the word Shaibu there is a Muslim name, but because he became a Christian, there's no way he can change that name. Just like Apostle John Suleiman. Suleiman is a Muslim name, but Suleiman is a Christian. Okay, said there is a lot to be done before 2024. We should stop this distraction for now and hold Obaseki to fulfill his electoral promises. This is what I want to hear. This is where I'm standing, and this is what I want people to be saying. We should hold Obaseki accountable. He has promised us he should do that which he has promised. Okay, guys? That's just all. That's what we want. We want to see, a develop. We want to see a first-class Edo, where everyone will be proud that we actually are Edo people. Okay? Then he said, Obaseki should lead Edo State with unity, accountability, development. Nobody gives a shit who is the governor if all citizens have a sense of inclusion in the administration. Yeah, that is very correct also. But because of the tribal sentiment that have been infused into the system in the Nigerian setting today, that is what is killing us. That's the problem there. In Switzerland, let me tell you something, guys. Those of you listening in Swiss, go check very well. They rotate power, particularly the central power among themselves. They rotate power among themselves in Switzerland. They have four ethnic groups that make us Swiss. But you don't know. Because they killed that very particular what is it called? Tribal sentiment. They kill that off. So they operate in a way that they are one group of people, but they can rotate it among themselves. But no, African sentiment is this: the moment your tunation doesn't sound my tunation, we are no more brothers. That's the problem. That is what I want us to take away from our subconsciousness. Edoma is an Edoma. Doesn't matter whether, because one of my brothers today, I was listening to him, Mr. Kunz. I love him very well. I don't know if he's here now. He's a very good guy who always try. I think it's great Edo emancipation. I think the guy that is actually, controlling that page. He was doing a video today. I was listening to him. Was talking about, why Edo people speak different languages. Sometimes we should listen to people like that also. He was trying to explain who we are, what we are. He made it very clear. Esan man and Afro man, even up to Shekiri. We are all from the same, lions of one man. So if we get that clearly, it helps us to reduce this tribal sentiment that we're actually parading. Then we'll have a very good, and a workable government. Why is it that today street lights are still not working in Edo State? Obaseki will be in the best position to answer that, sir. Sir, if the Benin refuse to give the Isha opportunity to become governor, I think we will divide the state. Sunday miracle, this is where I'm going. Let us not take this as tribal war. Okay? It is not a Benin's. Benin doesn't have the right to give Esan the governor. Afema doesn't have the right to give Esan governor. Okay? Neither do Esan have the right to give the Benin or the Afema governor. What really happened, like I said today, election is about numbers. Election is about negotiation. Election is about consultations. If my political brothers in the Esan wants to actually get into the corridor of power, they should start negotiating. They should start negotiating. They should start seeing, things, how they can talk to people, for them to understand where they are going to. Then we can have, where we talk to. That's really the truth of the matter there. If we do it like they must give it to us, you're going to be surprised at the end of the day to create unnecessary rancor among friends, among families that have lived together. The best we should do is this. If you are supporting the Esan agenda, you must begin to do negotiation. You must begin to talk to people why an Esan man must be or should be the next governor of Edo State. Yes, by right, it is your time, but that is not enough. Politics does not mean right. Politics means go beyond right. Okay? If you remember the 2015 general election between Goodluck Jonathan and Muhammadu Buhari, it was a time of the South. But the South, was cut short. Okay? Was cut short as a result of the North not wanting the South to continue government, and that ends it. And that was the end. So for us to be able to get this correctly, we must do a proper negotiation. We the South were saying it is our time. We must get our ATS. We produce the oil. We are the one that's feeding the nation. They said, okay, no problem. We're going to see if your talk we give it to you or negotiation we do. So let's go to that point where we begin to talk to these people, negotiate their conscience, make them see reasons with us why we should be the next, we should produce the next governor, and also produce a candidate that is workable, sellable. To them, maybe this old drama can change. That was why our brother said unity of the Eastern people. Thank you very much, my brother. So, Sunday, you don't understand. There is a legislative house within the government house. You're not getting it. Before now, the legislative house was within the government house. We will call the government house now. The legislative house was within there. It was in the same compound. So that compound there is not the government house. It is called Osadebe House. We give it the name government house. It is called Osadebe House. Then they have the legislative quarter inside that house. If you go there, you're going to see it there. Before the Chief Anthony Naro complex was built. So that's where they are now. And also, the power that they possess, it is not where they sit. It is their staff, which is the mess that they carry. That is what makes whatever they do legal. Hey, thank you, brother. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, sir. That's what we need to do. I'm always unbiased. I say it the way it is. Okay, because we are all brothers. Yeah, Shola David, I believe this is the problem that we have. Only two political parties, PDP and APC. The same two devilish party. My brother, like I said, I will never join any of this party. I will only support candidates, no party. Okay? They are not even worth supporting. All this, we are talking about political party. The two of them, they are the same. they are jumping up and down. Look at Ben. Ben said he's joined APC because Buhari is doing good. So he said Buhari is building good things. That's why. Say homeland vigilante is being used intimidating Edo people. Why? My brother, I think this must be this guy from Germany. My brother, the issue is this: I can't even tell why. But you know, in the Nigeria that you and I belong to, there's always bad eggs in every good intention. We must take that clearly. In the Nigerian sector we belongs to, in every good, there's always a bad egg who will destroy all the plans put together by the good intention of the people. So people are very greedy. They sneak themselves into power, then they automatically take, they take off that power and begin to use it at the detriment of the people. And that's what we are going to call on the governor. If there is any form that a vigilante is violating the right of the people because he has been given a gun, such a vigilante should be arrested and persecuted for using his office and his power to intimidate people. I am not in support of anyone intimidating anybody for whatever reason. I believe if they were set up to curb crimes in Edo State, and if you not take advantage of the gun or the power that has been given to you by the government to not intimidate others, such a person should write petition to the government. If you write petition to the government, come to people like us. We will air your cry on this show. That's what I do for a living. So if anyone is being intimidated, give the person my contact, let it get me, I will put you on the show, and I will send a video to the government. Because sometimes there's something that happens within the state, the government is not even aware. We must take note of that, guys. Sometimes they're not even aware. So, but if we not draw their attention to it, they will not know that some of these so-called leaders within these people are making millions from these crazy CDS or Kageles or John Weres in Noges. Okay, in Benin. Yes. I think Emmanuel Bogu did a video of Obaseki Govt, something like that. There was another video again that I also watched today in another community again. Orogo, I don't know what they call it. Where they actually came. That is the truth about it there. So the government should be aware of some of those atrocities being committed by this so-called vigilante, just like Nigerian police. Everywhere they have criminals who comes in and want to take advantage of the power that they have to amass wealth to themselves. Okay, guys? So that we will not support. Sunday Miracle, I think many people have spoken to him. And I believe he has also did a lot of videos to say he did not actually insult the ASAM people. He was only trying to give advice. Okay, so yeah, he has said that. I think since then he has not actually come out to do any video on that. So my mind is, since he has stopped talking about the ASA agenda, let the ASA people also just forget about it. Let's just forget about whatever transpired and let's just move on as one big family, guys. Okay, that's just what I think. Let's just move on and forget about whatever he said. Okay, guys. Thank you, sir. He said, I was brought up in Ubawa after Ambrose Ali was eliminated because he started to bring education to all. I have come to know that until the slave master are destroyed, there can't be development. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But our people also are not ready to actually help their people to develop. Okay, that's the problem also. Thank you very much, Grace Amor. I appreciate you, ma. You've been here all through the time with me. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Joseph Sonny said, it's not by right, it is by opportunity, not by right. Everybody have the right to be number one position in the state, so long the person possesses the required constitutional norms. That is what I'm saying now. That's what I said. That will be. Let me tell you something. Let me say something again here. Rotation, power rotation is not enacted in the Nigerian constitution. It's not enshrined in the constitution. It's not written in our constitution. Neither is it written in any of the constitution of the political parties in Nigeria. Power rotation was a gentleman agreement reached by the PDP in 1999, in 1998, prior to the time of President Olusegun Obasanjo. Okay, after the issue of the June 12 crisis and brouhaha. So, in order for them, for the Northerners to get power back, they came up with rotational ideology between the North and the South. So when it happened in the Central, the state also absorbed the state whereby you have multi-ethnic, group like Edo State, like Delta State. If you want today, the first was Ibori was from the Robo, then Uduaga was from Ishekiri and Robo, then Okowana was from the Igbo side of Delta State. Just to balance the equation for everybody to be included. That's just all. It's inclusiveness. Then you must be able to negotiate your way into getting such a position. That's what we are saying. There must be negotiation among the various groups that are involved. So my brothers from the Eastern community should start doing proper negotiation. Osage, I just said before, Obaseki should be able to answer that. Why there is no light in Edo, in the streets of Benin. I think he just had a video with us. He had a meeting with the Edos in diaspora, and he said that it's already working, and very soon they're going to be light everywhere. Somebody said vigilantes are doing great. They are very effective than police. Yes, but one thing is some of them are taking advantage of the power that they are possessed to intimidate people. That's what we are saying. I've seen a lot of videos whereby they are intimidating some group of people, so which is not actually okay. So let me just take two more questions. Yeah, we are saying the same, that the first step to development and growth of any society, electricity is the key. There is no insight or plan for that. Even the German cement deal is a cover show. The Ocean Power Plant is already working, sir. Ocean Power Plant is already taking care of all the government parastatals in Edo State, like the General Hospital, like the judges' quarter and the courts, like the Secretariat and the Government House. And right now, Obaseki just said in the last meeting he had with Edos in diaspora, on the Zoom meeting, that they're already working on modalities to start giving light to Edo people within certain areas. And about 70-kilometer street lights will be powered up before the end of the year. So let's just wait for him. That's what he said in that video. Let's wait for him and see what is going to come out of that. Okay? They have done a negotiation with the governor, which they believe will give them power. They believe him to be the next governor. No, they didn't do negotiation with the governor, guys. No, they supported the governor because they felt, listen, Joseph, the support of the Asian people on Obaseki, there was no negotiation. Asian believed, based on what I explained before, according to Engineer Luxman's explanation, that after Edo South would have gotten the governorship, the next it will come to Edo Center. And they felt if they supported Pastor Sage Zayamo to become the next governor, it would take them 8 years instead of 4 years. So there was no agreement between the Asians and Obaseki. Let me make that very clear. But what they believe is it would be better for them to support the guy that have 110 than supporting the guy that is coming in fresh, which will have 2 terms of 4 years each, which is going to be 8 years. So that was how the support for Obaseki came in through the ASAN people. Yeah, Obaseki should go and face governance and stop blaming his adopted party, PDP. Obaseki is never blaming any party. Have you heard him talk? He's not talking. We are just trying to analyze the situation of things that is happening in Nigeria. Sir, what about Gelegele Seaport? Gelegele Seaport is on. I actually drove there when I went to Benin now. You know, I have my farm along that area. I actually drove there. It's on, but he has not actually done so much there because he has tried to do dredging, but they need a permission from the federal government to continue, which I believe very soon. Which I think is very soon is going to start. Say, but the government did not campaign that Oshoma power plant will be used by government alone. I just know that he is already working on giving it. Listen, let me also explain something to you guys again. Now, the power distribution in every nation had to go under a law. Since states have not produced electricity before now, then the government of Obaseki need to enact a law for them to be able to distribute electricity. Yes, that's the truth. Because there's already an electric distribution company headed by Funke, which was given the power to provide electricity for the entire Edo state. Now, for the government of Obaseki to take away some of us from that grade of that woman, it needs to go to court and also produce a legislative backing to it. If not, it become illegal and it can be sued to court. Do not forget that actually Funke and a company actually sued Edo State government to court over Oshoma power plant. So Oshoma power plant is already ready, but there will be some paperwork to be done by the government before we, the citizens, can't consume the services. Okay, why the government were able to use it, because that's what actually belongs to the government. It is under the control of the government, so they have the right to say, we are no more going with you. We are leaving you, and we are going on our own. We have already created a means, just like you have what is it called? You have a solar system in your house. Yeah, that's how it is. So the government now, this Oshoma power plant is like a solar system they created to be consumed, but their plan is to give it to the entire state. But they must work out modalities. Legal frameworks must be put in place before such, an action can be taken. Otherwise, it will not become an action in futility. Whereby, if they sue them to court, they can put an injunction that can last 20 years. So they are doing all the work right now. As I speak to you, I think they've already sent a letter to the State House of Assembly, and they believe in the next 3 weeks or 1 month, they're going to come out with a law, and enact a law, and they will not invite the private distributors to come in and take over distribution of the Oshoma power plant. I think I did it in one of my videos that I did last week, yeah. I did one of my video, what Obaseki said during, a workshop that we're doing, on the power supply in Edo State. Okay, it's not only for government alone. It's planning to actually give it to the entire house. In the next few months, we're going to see the entire street in Benin. I think they're already giving out to contract also. The contract of all the street lights to be repaired and refurbished for an upward kick off of streets of power in the entire Edo State. Said he knew that. Listen, bros, let me tell you something. You can't create a law when what you are about to use it for is not ready yet. Do you know a school cannot be accredited by the government until the school is actually completed and investigation is being put in place? That's the truth about it. The same thing. You cannot create a law for what is not in existence. You must therefore put it in existence, test strongly that it's functioning before a law will not be created for who is going to help in distribution of that very particular thing. I just told you that Funke to the government to court when they started that ocean power plant. Go check history, my brother. I'm telling you facts and figures. I'm very, like I said, I'm not supporting anybody. If you know me, don't that know me here. If Obaseki does something wrong, I'm here to tell you. But when it comes to issues that are very factual, I always try as much as possible to make it very clear to our people, so we get something out of what we are doing and we understand how it goes. Yeah, somebody said the truth is that Nigerian leaders and politicians are greedy, all of them. Bros, I believe you. I believe you. I'm one of, that's why I said I will not work for Obaseki. I will not work for any politician. I can support you, but for me to go and work with you, I can't, because we are not on the same page at all. They're greedy, they're self-centered, they think less of the people. Yes, I'm not going to blame them. I'm going to say this again. I'm not going to blame them. The Constitution has only made them to be so. When you have a bad Constitution, you have bad leadership. Even when you try to do the right thing, the Constitution will not give you the power to do the right thing. That's it. So, guys, Peter Monday, Mokuna leave this divide matter. Abba. You guys are not getting what I'm saying. Leave divide matter. Tell your politicians to start negotiating. That will be a compromise. Listen, guys, nobody uses force to get what everybody is eligible to. The truth of the matter is this. For you to divide Edo State today into 3, you must seek a constitutional amendment. And also a referendum will be carried out. And this takes time. It's not a thing like this, bros. And 2, the federal government is going to check, do we actually have the financial capability to muzzle up another 2 states in addition to Edo? And knowing fully well, don't forget, sir, in Delta State, they have 3 major languages. The Robos, because the Robos in Soko, they are nearly the same. The Shekiris, the Jos, and the Igbos, 4. Those are going to cry for their own to be broken again. We can't do that. The state today does not actually have the capability to muzzle such financial issues. That's why the federal government will not even want to listen to you. So, but the only way you can succeed in getting the scholarship in 2024 is negotiation and consultations with people. Not this threat. You don't give us, we divide. It's not going to work, bros. That's really truth of the matter there, guys. I've stood on the side of Esan, but I must tell you the truth. It's not about dividing, it's about negotiating. Obaseki negotiated. Osubole negotiated. Osubo negotiated. They didn't use force on the people. So when we negotiate, we start talking to people. This is what we think. This is what we want. We have been marginalized in 1919. I mean, 1999. It's about 21 years now, 22 years. We've not tested power, blah, blah. People start seeing resist with you and start giving them what you think you can do to make Edo a better place. That's the only way you can come in. But if you say, okay, you don't give up, we're going to divide, bros, and Edoma will come again as a governor. Mr. Peter, let me tell you something before I address this. Do you know today, Edo South has about 45% of about 50% of the vote in Edo South. So Edo Central and Edo North has 50%, about 60%. Now, in that 60% now, Edo North has about 30% or 35% of the 60%. So Edo Central has 25% voting rate. So if you don't negotiate, you want to say they must give me. These guys have the superpowers right now, based on the ethnic politics that will not play in Nigeria. Okay, based on the ethnic in Nigeria in Edo State today. Now this other two, now they have the power, they have the numbers. So, but when you go and do your negotiation with these guys, tell them the reason why they should support you. Despite you are the small brother among them by landmass and everything. They will see reason which is okay. Let's join us together and help our brother. They have been on the sideline for too long a time. Let's see how we can be able to muzzle up, support for them and make them to become the next governor. That is how politics is being done. You understand? That's how policy be done. It's about negotiating. It's about consultation. It's about talking to the mind of people. Speak to my inner man. I've spoken to many people today now. Many people are not getting why we must support this agenda. Yeah, that's what you do. So when you come out to talk, if for instance I was an Asian man, if I was an Asian man, and after that video that was done by Batobaze, if I wanted to have replied him, I would have come down to do analysis. I don't even need to insult him. No. I would have come down here and do a very critical analysis of what is happening. Okay? Dino Osaitin, please, can you tell me where I lied? so since I said, go and sleep, you too lie. Can somebody ask Dino Osaitin to tell me where the lie will come? Please, Joseph, ask him. Grace Album, I'm going to ask this guy where the lie will come. Let him tell us where we are lying from. You have already analyzed a lot today. Thanks for your understanding and political exposure. Even though the own state in Nigeria will be divided, certainly not Edo State. Nigeria can never be divided. We are brothers. It's one family. We can't go. Just like you have the Urobos, the Shekiris, and the Jaws. You can't divide them. They are brothers. They might fight, but you can never divide them. They can't live without each other. That's just how we are in Esan, Benin, and the Afemas. Most people think to divide Nigeria or Edo State history is easy for them to say or comment on social media or Facebook. Please rethink. Please think of something else. It cannot work. That's from Grace Omo. Say it can't work. When I think of something else. Okay, guys. I think I need to take it, call it a day right now. They said this talking of dividing Edo itself is politics is about negotiation, not to divide your people. Yeah, that's true, sir. Not to divide our people. It's just we need to just negotiate. Let's talk to each other. And I can never change, sir. That's why I tell you that I can never change. I'll be doing this from the election time. Go check my election analysis, my election campaign for Obaseki. It was all about peace. That's why I was able to get so much followers in that short period of time. In that short period of time. That's the truth about that. I'm not up to 1 year on this show. I'm going to be 1 year by July that I started this show. June, yeah. It's going to be 1 year June of being a presenter. But I've been able to create, create a a very robust, a relationship with a lot of people because I believe in fact and figures. I don't just jump into issue because of my personal interest. I make sure that I don't have interest. I put my interest aside and deal with it the way it ought to have been dealt with. That has been my motto, and that will remain my motto. I work so hard so that I will not rely on the government to survive. Because anyone who doesn't work hard, they rely on the government, then they can change that along the line. I've never done that. And if it's too much, I return back to Sweden and enjoy my life here. So that's why those of us that live abroad, we must always tell the truth because we have a second address. Very important. So sometimes I cry. Listen, guys. Sometimes I cry if the guys in Nigeria they lie. If the guys in Nigeria support what is not right because of their political interest, because of what they're going to gain. But I cry when I see our people. When I talk to some people here in Europe, I wonder what are they thinking. You are living abroad. You have all the necessary things to survive. Why not just speak the truth to the people? Not sentiment, not trying to because of what you want to gain. Listen, a commissioner received 300,000 guys. Except, I'm going to say, if you live abroad, you want to go home and contest. If you live abroad, you want to go home and contest for, not contest, you want to go and take an appointment, for example, from Obaseki for 300,000 naira. 300,000 naira today is not up to 1,000 euros. As of today. It's about 700 euros or 750 euros. That give you 300,000. That's the highest Obaseki will pay you as a commissioner. Now, if you decided to go and take up such a position from diaspora, the truth of the matter is this, I'm going to say it very clear. Either you are patriotic or you are dubious. Patriotic in the sense that you've created a means of survival outside dipping your hands in the pot of soup in the government house. Yes, you have another means of surviving. Then you can take up a 300,000 job. But the truth of the matter is this, in a month, when I went home now, in a month, I uses not less than 120,000 to buy fuel on my car. And I don't even drive far. So if I take that away from my expenses and I live in my own home, or maybe government have to give me a rented house, they're going to buy fuel, they're going to feed. 300,000 is nothing. Somebody that gets 2,000 euros, you're not getting 750 euros in a month. You get 2,000 euros, 2,500. Some people get up to 3,000 euros in a month. And somebody's not paying you 750 euros in a month. That shows something. Either, like I said, you have created what you are going to live on when you get to Nigeria, or you're going to dip your hand inside the pot of soup. Okay. So, yes, I think that majority of those fighting to gain position in police are jobless in abroad, or something just like ex-governor of the state. Yeah. So that is just the truth, my brothers. Okay. So that's why I'm not too very keen about anything politics. No. I said before, if I'm interested in politics, I'm going to contest for governors. I'm not even working with anyone. I've said it many times. If I am interested to go and do something, I will be at the helm of the affair to make the change that I want. Not to go and serve under someone, which I don't have my own say. I work on his policies that is not even workable for me. You get it now? It's different. It's simple. Because if you work for someone, you follow the person's direction. You don't have your own details. But if you work alone as the head, you take drastic decisions that is very, very right for you as a person. So if I want to go home, I say, okay, I want to go home now. It is time for me. I'm going to come in to contest as a governor, not to work under anybody. Or maybe lowest, I'll go to local government chairman. Say me will not become a commissioner to somebody. It's not going to be possible. Not in this life. I will remain in my farm. I do my farm work, guys. Today, I found that they put to eat. That they get money pass now. Somebody said the intellectual from ASAN must strategize for 2024. The current speaker for ASAN is not fully aware of the demands of that position. Yeah, the guy, no, they just put, Marco is just first timer. Huh? So it's a first timer. It's a first timer, so he does not actually know what is happening there. And he's just running after money. That's what I'm saying now. These guys are running after money. They are not there to actually fight for the interest of their people. He's the number 3 man in government today. Governor, deputy governor, speaker. But yet his position is just quiet. It's just quiet. It's not making so much with the position that he had been given over time. God day Benson, my brother, I want to know if you are honest. I want to know how much did you collect to campaign for Obaseki for second term? I'm here right now with one of the Torbadians. Yes, God day Benson, I did not collect not even a kobo from Obaseki. Obaseki did not even know me. If you watch the video that Abat Obaseki did some few days ago, when he was talking to Niger Watch, I was a guy that was calling his name, ADM TV. Go listen to that video again very clearly, guy. He said in that video that Niger was called him about me, that he did not even recognize that I supported Obaseki, no talk of putting my name in any of the list of the social media supporters. So you can watch the video, guys. Obaseki was actually the guy that was in charge of the social media, for Governor Obaseki. So I was not recognized as a supporter of Obaseki, no talk of anybody giving me a kobo. Does that answer your question now? So there's a video in circulation, you can check the video, and that can actually give you a very clear analysis of what I just said now. you know, everybody knows about. He can't lie. He will tell you the way it is. So if he had given me money, he would have said that he actually gave me money. He said he doesn't even know me to have worked for Obaseki, not to talk of being paid for the job I did. So guys, I work because I love working, just like what I'm doing now. Some Edo indigenous in diaspora are part of the problem in Edo State. Yes, my brother, I believe you. They are part of the problem. They are part of the problem. They are just there. They're just there for their own personal selfish interest. Not all of them actually want a better Edo. They're just there because when they are tired, they've actually lived there. They spend all their money, buying Gucci, Jojo Armani, and all the expensive clothes. Some of our brothers will live here. They will buy clothes from head to toe. They have 2,000 euro worth of clothes on them. So when the economy was actually really, really booming. So at the time, everything went off and they couldn't actually survive again. So most of them are fighting to actually return home and start getting money, from the government. They're not there. They're not going there because of what they think they can impart in the government. They are going there because of what they think they can get from the government. It's a truth of matter, guys. Many of us just go there. Many of you just go there. But that's not it. If you live abroad for 5 years, 10 years, you could not invest what you earn. Bros, something is wrong with you. I've said it in some of my video before. This place, this is my motto. Sorry, guys, I'm going to say it's like I'm going to go a little bit out of what we take. I don't know if you don't mind, guys. Should I continue? Just say yes or no. Should I continue? I wanted to say something. Should I continue with that? Please just say yes or no. Okay, I think I'm not getting yes or no now. Like everybody's tired now. Please, should I continue? Just say yes or no, guys. Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me say this now. I'm going to give us advice as those who live in diaspora. I've left home for close to 20 years. And one thing I did when I was leaving home, I had a plan. Many of us don't have plans. I had a plan, I had a vision. I had a plan, I had a vision. Okay? Which I want us in that program to start having. That's the only way you can be able to change the narratives of things back home. I mean, for that I've done that today, are living so very well, comfortably back in Nigeria, without not even getting. Even when you get into politics, you are going to politics with what you have. I mean, if you know Asoro, we know how it is. Now, many of us believes that the little money we get from here, maybe 1,000 euro, 1,500 euro, is not enough for us to save for the rainy day. We believe, oh, and that money is not enough. How much 1,500 euros? How much 2,000 euros? I beg, make a blow am, make waka come out. Makes many of us today, when the economy fell, many became beggars. Many started relocating. Many of them who do not actually have so much in terms of documents, have nowhere to relocate to, they ran into politics. Because that becomes the final bus stop for many of them. Many of them went home. From all over the world, they ran home and jumped into politics because that is the only thing that was left for them to run back to. And meet up with the few people who have made, time to save the little that they have to become something big. So if you watch those of us who God has actually helped, not because we have money, no, not because we have plans. We are able to execute our plans to a reasonable point that we today will not depend on the government to survive. We today will not depend on stealing to survive. We can easily run around town and make something very tangible from what we have created for ourselves. We do not actually care about government. Okay? So I'm going to advise those of us who are just coming in now. If you not spend up to 5 years, please, you still have time. Rearrange your thinking faculty. This is a hustling ground. It is not a place where enjoyment is being made. Live an average life. Live a life within your reach and have a savings for the rainy day. Because today might be your day. Tomorrow might be against you. So what you save for today will determine what you will live tomorrow when tomorrow turns back on you. Okay, guys? We get that now. That's all. That's why some of them lies. Because some of them just come out. Today, most of them today, they do social media for a survivor. That's their job now. Because they have not really been able to do what will keep them going in a time like this. So that's it. Somebody asked me a question just now. Let me just go back there and said I should talk about. Let's talk about the royal role in land and the political leadership. Zion Extra, this topic can take me the whole day. It can take me the whole day. Okay? But let me just give you an hint. You know that today, the royal household in Nigeria, not only in Edo State, does not have any constitutional power anymore. Rather, they have an advisory power. Their power was taken away from them by the colonial masters in 1914. They made them to become adversaries. So they can easily give advice to the political class who now owns the knife and the yam. And if they take it, fine. If they don't, nothing they can do. So as of today, right now, the royal home in Edo State, for example, do not have power over lands anymore. The land is now in the custody of the government. Okay? Owned by the royal home, but in custody of the government. That was why when Oba Ewari II bound CDAs in Edo State, or in Edo South for in particular, he had to call in the governor to enact a law to back up his proclamation. If, for instance, Obaseki had refused to enact a law to back up the proclamation of the royal household, that royal proclamation would have become null and void. Some of us can respect him or respect the law because of the traditional stool of the Benin Kingdom. Many might decide to disobey the law because there is no law that is binding what the Oba had said. That's also why there are many cases that the Oba has actually judged in the palace between two communities or two landowners that was taken to court, and the court reversed the decision of the palace. Because the palace today is only on adversary road based on the constitution that we have today. They don't have that monarchical power that they possessed many years ago. Now, on the political leadership of the kingdom, he is also in a ceremonial position as a king without no constitutional powers also. And because of that also, he does not also have the power to control whoever is elected by the people. It's not like other states, like Sweden, like Switzerland, like Holland, like United Kingdom, like Spain, whereby they have a king, which is part of the government. As our king is not part of the government, it's just there as a ceremonial head, operating within the ambits of the law that is given to him, which is only advisory. That's why you always plead. And why the king of Benin, Oba Ewari the second the Great, the Oginigan the Great, why they respect him? It is because of the respect that we have for the royal throne as a Benin person. If you go to the other part of Nigeria, you see them, fighting over throne, impeaching a king, or they call it dethroning. But we don't do that because we the Edos, we are actually, we believe that our Oba is next to God. So because of that, even the political elected leaders, particularly from the south, from the southern Edo, respect the monarch of Benin than any other thing, because of the position that he had placed himself there, or that the history had placed him. That respect is just a respect based on mutual respect, not because of constitutional laws that guides him. In the constitution, the governor has more power than the royal houses in entire Edo State. That was why Oshomole was able to dethrone the Enoje of Uromi. Obaseki was able to dethrone another king again in the north. Is that okay? That's where I can go. Like I said, it's a broad one, but I have to help you to put a little analysis on it, so you look as if we are getting somewhere. But I've already answered this you now, my brother. I said, ask Obaseki now. I've already explained this before. The light is coming. He said he's promulgating the law now that will give us light in the next 3 to 4 months. Let's wait between now and the end of the year and see what is going to happen. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to come back here again and tell you guys. Okay? Another thing, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate you all today. Today has been a very robust discussion, and I will say a very, very big thank you, guys. Tomorrow, I'm going to come out a little bit earlier because I will be traveling out of town tomorrow. So I'm going to come out a very bit earlier. Oh, my brother, they come. June, Obaseki, Well done, oh, how you dey? Long time. Long time. Many of you, long time. Yeah. I do that a lot. You know, I do that a lot. I do that a lot. I do that a lot, Ezeyon. I do that a lot. I talk about the Edo people a lot. I stopped talking about the Edo people, you know, for some time because, like I believe the politics is over. We'll not talk about governance. Anytime I come, people talk about politics, I just have to move away. Politics is over. We'll not talk about governance. Particularly at one, we need to start dealing with what will it do for us. That's what I expect our people to start. We are fine, sir. That's what I expect our people to start doing. So if all of us will start thinking in that direction, then we will not have a problem. We can come up with any discussion. We will always talk. If you have anything you want me to talk about, just send me, you know, on my WhatsApp, and I'm going to drop my WhatsApp number here right now for those of you that are here. Just send me my WhatsApp. Just send me my WhatsApp, and I will definitely get across to you guys, and I will make sure that you guys will get. Yeah. So this year, you can send me a message on this WhatsApp, and I will come up and make sure I deal on the issue that you brought up. That's what I do. If you have an issue with Obaseki is not doing what you think he needs to do, just send me a message on that WhatsApp, and I will be here to actually deal on it. Okay? If Obaseki did anything I feel is not okay, I will also come here and say it the way it is. Just drop it there. Just drop it on my WhatsApp. Yeah, Mama, sorry, ma. Then we'll just deal. I will deal with it. I will deal with it. Okay. Now, the Oduduwa story. The Oduduwa story is clear. Oduduwa is a descendant from Benin Kingdom. Okay. Now, in the last Ogiso, it's called Ogiso Ewedo. That was the last Ogiso. The Ogiso dynasty. No, we have two dynasties in Benin. We have the Ogiso dynasty and the Yoruba dynasty. They will now have an intermediary. An intermediary, which is about 70 years of Edayi. Okay? That was the era of the Ogiamians. Okay? Ogiso Ewado married so very many wives, but he only had one son. Okay? And they had to go for an oracle, and when they went to an oracle, something happened. They said the woman who was supposed to be killed lied and deceived the other chiefs that went with him that the only son of the king will be killed. And in those days, the Benin believed so much in oracles. They actually decided to execute the son. Then that son was the one who pleaded with the executioner, and because it is also a taboo in Benin Kingdom for a king or a prince or a royal blood or a blue blood to be killed by anyone. By anyone. It was a taboo. As at that time, it was an abomination for a royal blood to be killed by anyone. And this boy saw that, and when this guy pleaded with them, he said, they not made an oath that you should never return back to this land again. The guy left, and that was how they returned back home and said they've done the execution and all that and that. So this guy actually went. This guy actually went towards the west. Okay? While he was wandering in the forest, before now, the Yoruba community, Yoruba being in existence, now, you need to take that very clearly. Oduduwa is not a Yoruba person. Go ask anybody. The Yorubas have been in existence before the coming of Oduduwa. The people who are part of the Oduduwa descendant are the royal household of Oduduwa, of Yoruba kingdom, not the Yorubas. Yorubas were already in existence. So why he was wondering, as at this time, the oracle has already told him that there is going to come a stranger from a far land who will become their king. So when they met this very man in the forest, dressed in the regalia of a king, don't forget he was a prince. So he was already dressing in the regalia of a prince. They met him and they asked him a question. What is your name? He called his name Izoduwa, which was corrupted to be Oduduwa. Anyways, now they also ask him, who is your father? That's what they said. He came from the sky. He said, Ogieniso. So the Yorubas are descendants of their own, but the kingship of the Yoruba kingdom is of the Oduduwa lineage. So when the Yoruba says, I am from the Oduduwa lineage, doesn't mean that we have the kingdom is from Yoruba. The Oduduwa lineage was one guy that was the history of both the Yorubas and the Benin have ascertained that this guy Oduduwa actually came to liberate the Yoruba kingdom. Not like our own, we have the Paidu. Paidu is the progenitor of the Benin kingdom. So there are two different things now. The Oduduwa kingdom is only the royal heritage, the royal home of the Yoruba empire or the Yoruba kingdom. So when the Yoruba says, I am a descendant of the Oduduwa, it means it's a descendant of that royal bloodline of the Oduduwa, which he calls the Ekaladera, the Zoduwa, who later became Oduduwa. And through Oromiya, which the Bini called Omononya, who gave birth to Oba Eweka the first Oba of Benin Kingdom. So that's how the lineage came out. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. Have a blessed night. And we'll see you tomorrow again, if God's hopefully willing. Thank you, every one of you. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.